Start with masks, which just seemed to be obviously such a contentious topic as we head back to school. But the different types of masks and how they're used, whether it's a source control versus a personal protection.
No, and I think that's an excellent distinction, Elizabeth. There's been a lot of questions about masks, like do they work? What are the different type of masks? How do you wear them? So I think what you touched on is really critical. Masks can play two different roles. One is their excellent source control. Think of that surgeon who's wearing the mask. He's not worried he's getting something from the patient. What the surgeon is worried about is that his breath, these droplets might end up causing an infection. So that's one thing that particularly surgical masks are really good at. Great source control. If the individual themselves wearing the mask is infected, it's going to be catching all those droplets. Remember, viruses are tiny, but viruses themselves are not traveling by themselves. They're traveling in those droplets that get caught by the source control. Surgical masks are great. Cloth masks are good as well. But what about the other side? What about I'm getting on an airplane, there's all these people around me, a physician who's going into a crowded ICU where there might be virus all in the air. That's when we talk about the N95 or the sort of commercially available KN95. This is really a respirator. This is where it's a tight seal on the mouth. You're actually breathing completely through this. There's no leakage on the sides, or I should say minimal leakage on the sides. You make sure you take that nose wire and get it nice and tight. That's the safest way to protect yourself when you're in one of these high-risk situations. So in a perfect world, everyone's wearing 95s. I guess that's not a perfect world. And then on the other side, a lot of situations, if we can get everyone wearing those surgical masks or those cloth masks, we're all protecting each other. And I have to say, at this point in time, early on, right, Anthony Fauci was saying, we don't really have all the data. We clearly have all the data. Schools, for instance, if everyone's wearing masks, everyone is much safer. So really good evidence for the mask, but there's a little bit of subtlety there about what is the best mask in what situation.